Welcome everybody to another episode on the finished article Euro 2020. We are back. It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon, and that only means one thing. It's the start of the last 16 of the European Championships, and we're going to get into it. But before we kick off, as always, you know the drill, guys. Please leave a like, subscribe, and comment below. As always, without you, we wouldn't be where we are today. So please share this with your social media feeds and others that you're going. We are on the race to 100, as my boy Shaz has said in the past. He's got a lucky prize that he's going to give to a 100 subscriber. We're currently on about 73 subscribers, so please do share this with others. And more content you want to see, please do let us know. We'd be more than happy to cover it off. As always, this is a channel for the fans, by the fans. And always, as recently, we've added a Twitter feed below. So please find us on there for news updates when we're going live, what we're going to be covering. But, without further ado, let me bring my homeboy on. Mr. Home, how's it going, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, mate.
Not too bad. Well, what can I say, man? Beautiful day. I got bored without the football for a couple of days. It felt weird.
It's strange, isn't it? A 2-day break. They shouldn't have a break, and they should have the schedule so there's no break until just after the semi-final.
That is true. That's true. But guys, we're going to mix it up today. So instead of me and Rich just talking to you about the fixtures of the last 16, we're actually going to present an interactive chart, and we're going to talk through the fixture. They're in no particular order, but what we're going to do is talk through them. And anybody watching, please leave some comments if you disagree with what me and Rich have said. Happy to have a discussion on this or revisit them going forward. But without further ado, let's go into it. So what have we got now? So the first game we got today is Wales-Denmark, 5 p.m. Go for it, Rich. What do you reckon? As Rich calls Wales the England B team or C team, if you like.
Yeah. Well, I'd say about at least half the players must have been born in England. Kiefer Moore's the only English-born player to have scored in a tournament so far.
Nice.
But, now, but in fairness, British banter aside, Wales have started to earn the respect of European football, world football. Now they did well to get through the group stage. Don't think they were the first game against it was Switzerland in the first game, wasn't it? I don't think they were that great, but it wasn't.
No, they almost lost it. So Switzerland scored a second, but VAR saved them, and they ended up. During the second game, they managed to beat Turkey 2-0.
Second game, they played very well. The first game, they weren't bad, but they weren't great either. But that was in Azerbaijan. But they came through it. They got a point, which played a massive part in them get through. Ramsey and Bale were very good against Turkey.
No, that is true. Actually, you know what? What actually saved them was their goal difference. So Switzerland were very close to actually clawing them and overtaking them, but I think they had the extra goal, and then
in the end, it would have gone through anyway as a best third place.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and Italy was a tough game for them last game because we all know what the Italians are all about. Yeah. They like to keep it tight at the back, and they're strong defensively. And we got Denmark. So Denmark, obviously, as we all know, Christian Eriksen suffered with that stroke first game. So
we all saw that, didn't we? That was horrible watching. Horrible to watch. Like, even for us, who neither of us two are emotionally connected to Denmark or to Christian Eriksen, and it was horrible for us to watch, or fans at home on telly to watch. But imagine how bad it would have been for them players in normal circumstances. If something like that happened in a standard non-tournament game, the game would have been abandoned, no doubt. But they came back on. You could tell their heads weren't in the game when they came back on, and understandably so, because they'd literally just seen their teammate die on the pitch and be resuscitated.
No, absolutely.
They lost that game. The second game against Belgium, I thought they were absolutely superb, Denmark.
Yeah, they took the lead, I believe. They went on the lead, and then I think
they were the better team. They're all over Belgium in that game. Belgium just like with all good, the sign of a good team is you can play when you've got quality like them. They've got Hazard and they've got De Bruyne. When you've got that sort of quality, you can play poorly or no power and still get the result, and that's what Belgium did. So that's very rare. If a team loses 2 games, the good thing about the teams in third getting a chance to go through this one is it makes less dead rubbers in the final game. As it happened, Denmark won the last game.
Yeah,
and gone through anyway. Ended up going through in second place, but I
they
think it's
ran
real.
riot.
After what happened 2 weeks ago, that is a real fairy tale, and I think whoever Denmark play in this tournament now, from now on, they'll have the support of most neutrals.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I mean, glad to see that Ericsson is making a speedy recovery.
Yeah.
We wish him all the best. But without further ado, Rich, what are your predictions for today's game, Wales versus Denmark? How do you see this one going?
I just think there'll be a real togetherness in the Denmark camp, but same with Wales. They'll have a togetherness about them as well.
Yeah,
I think it could be a close one today. I can see it going to extra time.
I'm gonna say it's gonna end 1-1 in 90 minutes, and then it'll go to pen. And I can see probably just about Wales sneaking this one through 5-4 on pens.
Where's this game being played?
This game is actually being played in the Netherlands. So unfortunately, Wales fans are not been allowed into Amsterdam because of the whole COVID situation. Yeah. So Denmark fans, I believe, are there, unless there are any local-based Wales fans. But yeah, it's been playing in Amsterdam.
All right. Well, do you want to go Wales? I'll say Denmark on penalties.
Okay, go. You know what?
Schmeichel in goal.
You know what?
If you want to go with Wales, we can go. Wales.
Anybody watching, please leave some comments and let us know who you think would actually go through it, whether you think it's going to be Wales. But you know what? I'm happy to go with Rich on this one to get the discussion going. And then who else have we got today? Let's have a look.
I think it's the Italians. Italy,
Italians. Yes, we have got the Italians. 1 second. Let me bring it up. Not sure why this is in a weird order, but you know, we'll go through it anyway.
Italy have probably been the most impressive side in the tournament so far.
Yeah.
In terms of performances, I think they had 2 3-0 wins, but that doesn't always count for much, because sometimes teams can be fantastic in the group stage and then they burn out in the knockout stage.
No, that's true.
With Italy, didn't they change the whole lineup for the final game?
Yeah, they rested quite a few players.
And they have rested players because,
yes,
and they even won that one. They won 3 out of 3. Like England, they've not conceded a goal yet, but they scored 7. So
I've got to be honest. I watched Austria play, and I don't think the Italians will pose too much of a threat. I mean, Austria won't pose too much of a threat to Italy. I can see Italy winning this comfortable, probably 2-0 is what I'm going to say.
Austria have done well. They won 2 out of 3 in their group.
Yeah.
So they deserve to be in the knockout stage. Fully deserve to be. But yeah, I can't see anything other than Italy winning this one.
No, that's fine. So let's go into it with Italy. Moving on, who we got tomorrow? Actually need to bring this up. Give me a second, guys. I'll bring it up. So tomorrow we've got the Netherlands versus Czech Republic first. So let's go to it. I believe this is the bottom. Yeah, here we go.
This could actually be a very good game.
Yeah.
Of course, Czech Republic, they went into the final group game against England, top of the group. They ended up finishing 3rd, but went through as one of the best 3rd place teams. Because
Croatia ended up winning against
goals scored.
Yes.
But Netherlands have won 3 out of 3. They beat Macedonia comfortably in their last game.
Yeah.
Tough one to call this.
You know what? Can I just add something? So I watched the Netherlands play, and whilst defensively going forward, I think they're really good. I think defensively they are not the best. So against a bigger team that's more attacking, say for example like a Germany, England, a France, or a Portugal, I think they will get found out. Now, I mean, in terms of this game, I would probably see this one going as a narrow 1-0 win to the Netherlands, because Czech Republic are hard to break down, as England found out in their last game. And whilst they scored some wonder goals against Scotland, I can't see there being an upset in this one. So for me, this is a win for Netherlands.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I'd say that 1-0 Netherlands.
And then the second game of the day we've got is Belgium versus Portugal. That should be a real interesting one. So
Portugal may have only come third in the group, but it counts for nothing because they're in the group of death. The tournaments they've scored, I think they've scored 7 goals so far this tournament.
yeah,
Ronaldo's got 5 of them. I think they've conceded 6. So Belgium, as I said before, I haven't seen much of them because other than the Denmark game, I haven't watched much of Belgium. I didn't watch the game against Russia.
Actually, before we carry on, I've got a comment that I want to bring on screen. So it's from John Redfern, and he's saying he's hoping that Denmark beat Welsh. So, John, thank you very much for tuning in and leave your comments. As always, it's very much appreciated. And you know what? I think that's what myself and Rich went for. I think Denmark will probably sneak it on pens, being a tight game. But as always, thank you very much for your support. Keep your comments coming in. Yeah, go back to it, Rich. Belgium, Portugal. You know what? At one place, Portugal were finishing from the 1st to 4th. I thought at one point England would get Hungary, then they got Portugal, then Germany.
France at one point, it went round the circle. I think with Belgium, they haven't played. Well, I say they haven't played great, but they've won 3 out of 3, so they've done all right. When I saw them against Denmark, like I said, Denmark were the better team in that game, but Belgium had that bit of class, and class came through in.
But what you got to realize today is Belgium are facing an enigma called Cristiano Ronaldo, who's got 5 goals, and I believe he's on record with Ali Dyer in terms of the top men's goal scorer in world football. So for me, I can see Portugal nicking this one. I'm going to go. You know what? I'm going to be bold. I'm going to go 3-2 Portugal.
You know what? Portugal have the tournament mentality. Belgium, they're always talked about as one of the favourites, and they're a bit like England.
I was about to say. Belgium are like the golden generation. If Belgium don't win it this year, I think they're going to struggle.
Yeah, Portugal have proven, well, they're Nations League holders, European Championship holders. They regularly get to semi-finals, and they're not just about Ronaldo. They've got other good players too. They've got Bernardo Silva. I'm gonna go Portugal to take this one.
Nice. So we're in agreement. Portugal going through. Nice, very nice. Then we're moving on to the next set of games, which is Croatia, Spain.
This is definitely the hardest half of the draw. I think you've got 2 halves to the draw, and I think this is definitely the hardest road to the final.
No, you've
got England. Once we're past Germany, I suppose we've got Holland our side of the draw. To be fair,
no. So basically, we'll come to that shortly. We won't spoil it, but if England beat Germany, and fingers crossed they do, they will either face Sweden or Ukraine. But we're not going to get too much into that. Let's cover Croatia, Spain first. So that being the game on Monday. So Rich, how do you see this go? I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm not really impressed by Spain. They haven't really done anything that's really impressed me. Sweden finished top of the group. They ended up beating Poland as well in the last game. Spain, I think, are past their best.
They've struggled for goals in the first 2 games. Obviously, Sweden held them to a draw, and then they drew with Poland. Was their goal a penalty? Spain goal, or I'm getting mixed up?
Yeah, they scored a penalty.
They didn't score from open play until the final game against Slovakia. But although they were convincing in that one, Croatia. You know what? I think Spain will just about nick this one.
Yeah, I think it'll go. I think it'll go to pens, and on pens, I gotta say, you know what? I'll give it to Spain to get this one over the line. And then the last game on the Monday is, let me bring it up for you, France versus Switzerland. I don't even think we need to have a discussion on this one.
I can't see anything other than a France win.
If France don't win by a Kante, I'll be surprised. Mbappe, Giroud, they look sublime against. They beat Germany in the first game thanks to an own goal. The second game, they absolutely ripped Portugal a new asshole, but they got lucky with 2 own goals from Portugal. And then the final game, let's be honest, had they not given that penalty away, then we would have been facing Hungary, but it is what it is. So for me, I'm going to say this is going to be a solid 3-0 win to the French.
Did my other half, she did buy some Swiss beer from Aldi a couple of weeks ago, so I'll be sitting and drinking that. I've been saving it for when Switzerland have been playing, so I'll be sitting and drinking that Monday night.
Fair enough. Anyway, moving on to the last set of games on the Tuesday. So without further ado, you know what? We're not going to cover this one first. We're going to cover Sweden, Ukraine first. We'll save the big one for last. So Sweden, Ukraine. What's your thought, Rich?
Oh, this will be a tough one to call. Sweden won their group, didn't they? And they won a group with Spain in. Everyone expected Spain to win that group, but Sweden did a defensive masterclass on Spain. They did a job on them, held them to a 0-0 draw, and then won the next two games. They hadn't scored. They'd only scored one in the first two games. Then they scored 3 against Poland, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, I think these guys, I never really expected them to actually go through. So this could be a free for all, and you know, on their day, both of them could actually go through. So I'm actually going to call this and say it's going to be 1-0 to Sweden.
Yeah,
I can see Sweden just about nicking this one.
We'll go for the group winner over the third place team.
Exactly, and then you know what, we saved the best for last as always. We got England, Germany on the Tuesday at Wembley, 40,000 mad fans there. And before we carry on, I've got a prediction from Mr. John Redfern, who's going 2-1 England, Sterling and Kane to score. Well, yes. You know what? The fact that Kane hasn't scored is probably not a bad thing because he's probably going to peak at the right time.
Yeah. Law of average, he's going to score one. He's not a player. Players like him don't go for long without scoring. So
no, that's true. I mean, for me,
we'll get a penalty. Hopefully. And he'll bury it.
I watched the Germany game against Hungary, and I don't think we have anything to worry about because England. Well, let's rephrase that. So Germany can quite easily beat England on their day, and England can likewise do the same. So I think it just depends on who turns up on the day. I think England really, if they're gonna take this championship, they've got to beat these sides now. There's no point leaving them till the semi-final, final. You might as well get the tough games done now. You know what? I'm actually going to go out and say, you know what? I'm going to say a 3-1 win to England.
Let's face it, neither of us are going to come on a podcast live and say that Germany are going to win. None of us are going to say that outright.
So, yeah, that's true. True.
So well, you might as well put England.
Except for one of our mates who's on the threads that Rich knows very well, who I think he's a bit confused in his identity. He needs help, but that's a different story.
Well, the omens aren't good for England because since we beat West Germany as it was then in the 1966 final, we've met them 4 times in the knockout stage of the tournaments, and every time the Germans have gone through and we've been knocked out.
In Euro 2000?
Euro 2000, we beat them in a group game.
Yes.
But in knockout games, obviously 1970 World Cup quarter-final, 2-0 up, lost 3-2 in extra time. 1990 semi-final, lost on penalties. Euro 96, lost on penalties. South Africa in 2010, where on paper England had the strongest team. Lampard, as we discussed the other day, Lampard's goal, it was over the line. It should have been given. But even if we forget about that, even taking that into account, Germany hammered us that day and were the better side.
Yeah.
And another worrying omen is England have never actually won a knockout game at a European Championship.
Yeah, but Rich, the same thing you could have said about the group stages, and we got that hurdle over. I think, you know what, it's just got to be England have really got to go for it. So while Southgate has been quite reserved in picking up his lineup, he knows this is a knockout game. Anything can happen. I'll be honest, if you got Mount, Foden, Grealish, Kane, Sterling, Rashford, you've got abundance of talents there. You got Maguire, who's just come back as well. I think you just got to take the game to Germany because defensively, I think you can catch him out. I don't think England will keep a clean sheet because I just think the Germans will find a way to get a goal. But I'm going to go 3-1 to England. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Of course, we did beat Spain in the quarters of Euro 96, but that was on penalties. But what I mean is we've never won a knockout game at the Euros in 90 minutes.
No, that is true.
But like you say, records there to be broken.
Indeed. Rich, what's your prediction then? What we going?
I'll go an England win. I'll go 2-1 England.
Nice.
But it made Gary Neville made a good point. The way England have gone about their business in the group stage, we've been efficient, which is the Germans are known for their efficiency. But if it was another country doing what England had done, we'd all be looking at them thinking, you know what, they could be dark horses. They've gone about the business quietly.
Well, at the end of the day, it comes down to literally just the fact that who plays better on the day. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Germany don't really look like a side that they were in the past. The fact that they won against Portugal was more the fact that Portugal were feeling generous and decided to score 2 own goals. But that being aside, I watched them against Hungary. Even Hungary were managing to get them in defensive areas. So as long as England put the balls in.
But with 8 minutes to go, Germany were heading out the competition. Yeah. And then the tournament mentality came through for them, because with 8 minutes to go, they were heading out. And then they ended up getting the equaliser and going through.
Well, I think what this is going to come down to, and believe it or not, it's probably not a bad thing that the 2 English sides or 4 English sides or 3 English sides made it to the final of the Europa League and Champions League, because these big match players will know how to handle the pressure. I think they will stand up and be counted. The fact that you've got Jude Bellingham and Jadon Sancho who play in Germany for Borussia Dortmund is also an added factor that they can sort of share their knowledge. And it just depends, but you know what? It's going to be an absolute humdinger. I did hide predictions because
if England are a goal down with 8 minutes to go or 10 minutes to go, whatever, can you see us turning it round?
Well, it's now or never, but I think we can. I think we've got enough quality there. I think what you got to do is take the shackles off and say, look, we've got to start taking some spontaneous shots. So I think sometimes when you try and play too much pretty football, just get the ball in the back of the net. That the reason you got Harry Kane that struggled is because you've literally had him trying to be playmaker as well. We just need him to be ruthless in front of goal and be like, listen, mate, my job's to stick the ball in the back of the net, and that's what I'm going to do. And you know what? It's time for Sir Harry Kane to step up and deliver the goods against the Germans. It's our time, bro. It's coming home. It's coming home.
Wow. Yeah. You know what? I think scoring first will be a big deal. Now, watch us go 1-0 down in the opening 2 minutes now I've said that.
No, but here's the thing.
I think the first goal could be crucial, but we've got a home advantage and we've had an extra day's rest. And
it will be. But the other thing you've got to factor in is that you've got to learn to kill teams off. So this whole 1-0 protect the lead, I don't think will work, because against these sides, they're going to be quite tough, and they will find a way to score.
If we keep possession, we're not going to concede.
Oh, yeah.
So who knows?
That is true. But guys, the reason I had the predictions is myself and Rich, following the last 16, we'll be covering the quarterfinals. But we wanted to save that for another episode. But I'm going to go through some admin. So as always, thank you very much for everyone that's been tuning in. Please leave a like, subscribe, and comment. As always, that beautiful ticker is there. And we've got a social media feed for Twitter, so please follow us on that for more content. If there's anything that you guys have seen today that you disagree with, please leave a comment and let us know your thoughts, what you'd like us to see cover, and what you think our predictions are. If you think we've been completely off the mark, then please let us know. For those that have tuned in, and I can see that there are a few tuning in, thank you very much. And we're going to get into watching the games, and we might come back to you with more content. But until next time, guys, stay safe and take it easy. We'll see you soon.
I'm off for a sleep, and then I'll be watching Wales-Denmark.
Indeed. Take care, guys. Until next time. See you soon. Bye.
Football's coming home.